Soon as a nigga get a gun, that shit start talking to him every day. Like, nah, you gonna take that?
Like the Green Goblin mask?
Yeah, every day. Get a gun, it's like, you gonna let him talk to you like that?
Gun like, yo, just take me on a walk. It's 4 a.m. So what? Man, it's just me and you.
It starts saying shit like, but what he mean by that?
Word.
You're gonna let him get away with that?
But what you mean by that is real, son. That's keep a up at night. Pause.
He was like, yo, you should go ask him, but bring me with you.
Yo.
Take me with you.
He said, no, I'm saying like, but what you meant by that? It's like, I mean, I meant whatever you want, man. However you want to take it. So it's like, God damn. Yo, because a tried to save face, but out at the same time.
Attention, player haters and overrated disbelievers of all kinds. I stand before you today 10 toes down as the bearer of bad news. Y'all done fucked up.
What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. I guess it's a long overdue conversation. Nas made a song about this in the 90s. You know, I gave you power. I made you buck wild. There are a lot of people in America who they're gun tough. They wasn't like that until they got a gun. They didn't have a bad attitude until they got a gun. You get what I'm saying? And that's a problem. And you know, and I equate it to like it's a false sense of power over another person and security. And what I mean is, it's just like when a bully looks around to figure out who they can bully, and so they pick soft targets. Gangsters pick people who aren't in organized crime to target. You get what I'm saying? Soft targets. Crooked police pick civilians as targets, soft targets, right? And it's the same thing with people with guns. Same, it's the same premise. Like, you got a gun, now I'm mad at the world. You know, I got it on me. I'm ready for whatever. And it's like, what do you mean you ready for whatever? And, you know, in my lifetime, I've seen some wild stuff. You know, back in the day, in the 90s, when I was a kid, you know, there used to be it'd be shootouts at basketball courts, just over basketball, you know. But there's a flip side to it, because people went to play basketball, but they had a gun. They didn't have a gun on them. They had a gun in the car. And, you know, people would say that in multiple places. I'm finna go to the car. I'm finna go pop the trunk. And it was funny because that worked for a short period of time. Like, the minute you said, I'm going to the car, you got beat up right there. Right then and right there. Wait, you go, wait, I'll be back in a minute. No, you won't. Boom, 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 bop, 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 bop. You're going to be knocked out, stomped out, because you went to play a game with a gun on you, because in hopes you would get into it with somebody. Those were the guys who used to come there and foul people. They do it now. You know, that's why when you see people in basketball coaches now, you see people go on street ball and they be trying to foul people and trying to bully people. That's that same ideology. But now, instead of going to the car, people, you gonna go to your bag. No. And that's why people get in fights sometimes. Because like, nah, I'm not finna risk it. It's just that mentality. Like, I got a gun, I can do whatever I want. People in a nightclubs, nightlife scene, right? You have that. Men and women go out to have a good time, but there's always some guys in there with guns on them. They don't want to go in the club because they got guns. You know, If it's because certain clubs are like certain places like, nah, we patting people down. Other places don't. Um, and I've been in those situations where you having a good time, and somebody's being extra, and you like, what the? And I had to tell friends of mine in certain situations, hey man, don't mess with him. He got a gun on him. That's why he bumping people and being rude and and trying to act like he running because he got a gun on him. That's why he wouldn't do it without that gun. He wouldn't act like that. And if you pull that gun out and you knock it out of his hand, he not gonna fight you. He gonna turn for his gun. Hey, let me get my. No, because he got a gun and now we on one. You know, ladies, I've seen ladies the same way. She got a gun and now she gets into it with men. Now she's argumentative with men. She don't really get into it with women. She argumentative with men. She want to talk the men crazy and smack men and put her hands on men because she got a gun in her purse. And it's like you wouldn't act like that if you didn't have a gun on you. Same thing with road rage. You see people in the car, they wild, they tripping, they going all over the place, they cutting people off, they brake checking people, they trying to run people off the road because they got a gun in the car. It's like you wouldn't act like this if you didn't have a gun on you. You know what I'm saying? Said the same thing with like in the U.S. with crooked police officers, corrupt cops. They act like that because they got a gun on you. That's why it's like, oh, you didn't use your turn signal. Let me put the gun in your head. So this for a traffic stop. No, it's because I got a gun, I got a badge, I could kill you, and even if I'm a serial killer or I have psychopathic tendencies, I'm not going to jail because I got a badge on. That's how they go. So when you see cops escalating, like people chilling, but they keep picking the situation because they got their gun on. They wouldn't act like that if they did. Like that gun gave people power, so they just, oh wow, I'm ready. And it's like, listen, and I'm a gun owner. You get what I'm saying? I keep mine with me, and most, not I don't carry it everywhere because I'm a person like this. If I feel like I got to carry a gun to a place, I ain't going. So all you other cats for you young cats who and let me back this up. I think you need to learn how to fight before you get a gun. Because see what happens is the vast majority of people who love guns can't fight. And they don't want to fight, but they want to start fights. They're the kind of people who they want to start fights to shoot people because they scared to get in a fight because they probably gonna get their ass whipped. So that's what the gun's for. I don't want to feel like I don't have any power, and it's like, okay, but let me run this by you for a second. You ain't the only one person with a gun, and y'all need to chill that out. You know what I'm saying? It's the same premise with people who I brought up gang members with criminals. I want to rob you. I got a gun on you. Da, 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 da. It's like, bro, chill out. And I'm glad the brother said that, like the 4 a.m. in the morning. If you got to go out when everybody's asleep, that's gun season. I'll tell you that right now. That's gun season. No matter where you at, it's gun season. Because people don't act like that in public in the daytime anymore. Let me rewind this, matter of fact. Because this happened to me in Vegas. I was there in Vegas, and this happened in Texas. Because for whatever reason, the state laws, they made it, they mandated like, you can have open carry, right? And I remember being an In-N-Out Burger in Vegas, and the guy walks in with this gun on his hip, and everybody kind of like looking at him like, man, what the fuck? Because, people, family, kids, and those, And those are the nutcases, the people like, they got a gun out there, I'm protecting somebody. No, you a psychopath. You looking for somebody to shoot. Under the I'm protecting somebody or I'm in fear for my life. Dead all that BS. Same thing happened here in Texas. So people started going to like, Chick-fil-A's, Targets, Walmarts, HEB, that's a grocery store, Lowe's, Home Depot, just regular, just gun out. Like, yeah, I'm here to pick up, some toilet seats, but I got my rifle on me. It's like, what? So the businesses was like, look, yeah, they said it was a law, but you can't come in here because, and there was a news story that got this guy who was walking in white guy walking in a black neighborhood with an assault rifle. I'm just protecting my rights, and everybody like, no, you looking for soft targets, and you're gonna wind up getting shot up in these streets. Because that's the other thing about, guns give you power, and you don't think about it in this way, but most people who got a gun on them and really with it, they're not gonna let you know. Most people got weapons on them and they really with it, not gonna let you know. So a lot of y'all pick these fights like you John Wick, like you could, like in a shootout, you just, you a soldier. You're not. You're not. Had an old man I used to work with that was a vet. He was like, yeah, man, he was just saying how, he said, if I got in a shootout, he said, I'll be fine because most of these people don't know what it's like when people gonna shoot back. He said, I could just be calm and pick you apart because your adrenaline's not used to it. You still kind of shaky. You don't have the wherewithal to aim like that. I'm like, he kind of got a point. But then people getting a real shootout is people running and moving. It's not like, it's not like a movie, bro. So, and people get caught like that too, where, the gun gave you power, so you wind up getting in the shootout, and normally the person you shooting don't get hit because you can't shoot. Even if you went to train to shoot, you can't shoot because everything going on around you and your adrenaline. I've been out in situations where, I've seen people get shot. Whole shootout, none of the people that were shooting out got shot, but other people got shot. They on the ground bleeding out, and it's like, you wouldn't act like this if you didn't have this gun on you. And I gotta say this. The reason I'm making this conversation is because there's a kind of person that existed when I was younger that still exists now. And y'all gonna keep running around with these guns and feeling tough, and somebody gonna track you down. And it's gonna get ugly. And they're not gonna care. Because this bully mentality that I got a gun, I got power, so I can just go around and just be whatever. You don't understand. Some people let me say this. A lot of y'all don't realize if because a gun gave you power and people walked away from you or didn't engage you, whether they knew you had it or didn't know, you the one that got a pass, not them. Because if that's your habit, you don't realize there are people out here who go, oh, okay, don't worry about it. In 3 months, when you least expect it, you done. Because I ain't even gonna. I'm gonna let the time pass. I'm gonna learn some stuff about you. I'm gonna stalk you. Yeah. And y'all don't get that because y'all too comfortable. Y'all comfortable with this gun culture and the gun making you tough, but y'all ain't comfortable getting hunted the way you try to hunt people. And that's the point. Like, chill out. Because there ain't no fun when a rabbit got the gun. But I'm done. Peace.